Because you're not listening to your intuition. You shouldn't be listening to what the rest of the world is doing, because you're special and unique in your own way, and you can't do what other people are doing all the time. And that might lead you to having feelings of FOMO. But the pros outweigh the cons when you are guarding your energy, when you are guarding your spirit. Hi guys, welcome. Hope you're doing well. If you're new here, please hit subscribe. And if you're now returning, thank you. I appreciate you. Lately, I have been trying to understand my own energy and how I can use it the best way that I can without using too much, and basically going with the flow and not against the flow. I feel like we don't actually recognize where our energy is going throughout the day. We'll get lost in our thoughts that don't even benefit us, or we're on our phone too much, or we're just doing things that don't benefit us. And then the next day we feel tired and we wonder why that is. It's almost kind of like a cat and mouse game where we're trying to catch up, trying to recuperate, and we just never feel fulfilled. And I want to know how I can just feel good all the time. I'm tired of going back and forth. So I also want to talk about human design and how my human design has helped me in moving forward to understanding how I fit into the world around me. Aside from doing the shadow work and rewriting my thought patterns, all that good stuff, it wasn't until I really understood my human design and started looking into it that I've been more intentional about where I've been placing my energy. So with my human design, I found out that I'm a projector, and only 20% of people in the world are projectors. These type of people are more like the ones to guide people, and the projector's aura is more focused and penetrating, very laser focused type of people. And then the type of world that we live in is more generator oriented, which is people that are constantly on the go. They have energy to just give off, but projectors are very much hermits in the way that they need silence and to retreat and to recharge their batteries ever so often. And when they come out of their room, out of their shell, they have amazing ideas. They are very inspiring, and every one of the human design have their own special qualities to them. And each of these components help make the world go round in their own specific way. But projectors need rest, unlike most of the human designs. So if the world is mostly created by generators, where these energy types are always on the go, and you're a projector which needs to recharge, to rest, you don't get nourished from being on the go all the time. That's not how you feel good. Then what is the problem? What happens? Well, projectors are prone to burnout, and that is a problem. That is a catastrophe. So we need to find a balance, or else it'll cost you your peace and your energy. The projector's main strategy is to wait for an invitation, and how you do this is by doing what you love, what your gifts are, just being the best you possible, and then waiting for someone to recognize it, and then bam. And this could take a long time to get recognized. And one of the things that people find very challenging is waiting for an invitation. What do you mean by waiting for an invitation? So I have to just keep doing all this and not get recognized? And then to rebuttal that, I feel like when you find out what works for you, like what are you the best at? What makes you feel fulfilled? Like hone in on that, keep doing it, and put yourself out there, and just wait until you get recognized. So yeah, I'm a projector, but there are other different kind of human designs. There's the generators, as we were talking about, and these types have just kind of this energy where it's always perpetual, always in motion, and that's how they feel fulfilled and satisfied, is by using up all their energy. And then their rest is not going to be as extensive as projectors, but their energy is just always they are basically a life force. And so projectors tend to follow generators because they are a life force, and they kind of feed off of their energy per se. Then there's manifestors, which are the trailblazers, and these people have these ideas, but they don't necessarily have the energy to do so. And you can't quote me on this. I'm really not savvy with what the manifestor is, because I did my research on projectors versus anything else. although there's manifesting generators as well. And to find out what you are, you just would have to go online, search up human design type, and it will show you which one that you are based off your date of birth. And then on top of that, there's reflectors, which they're the rarest kinds. So once you understand your energy type, you can kind of see you're basically not going against a current. You know what I mean? This is very valuable information to have, to understand how to channel your energy in the proper ways, where you're working with your energy rather than against it. And so aside from just my human design, I have looked at my birth chart to show me where my energy would be most useful. So I'm putting all these resources together just to find out kind of like why I'm here. What am I supposed to be doing here? What is my mission here? And my birth chart, if you take a look at your birth chart, it will tell you what career works best for you. And the way that you can see is what your rising, your second house, and your 10th house is. And for me, knowing that I'm a projector and then putting my birth chart next to it, it kind of just works out perfectly. My midheaven is in Cancer. And if you have a midheaven in Cancer, that is a nurturing role. How you would work best is as either a musician, artist, something that is creative or nurturing. It's very feminine, a very feminine type of sign to have. And then my second house is my sun, which I'm a Scorpio. My Scorpio sun is in my second house, which means that I'm in investments. I like risky investments, and property management, real estate, what have you. So again, like that investment stuff is just kind of not doing too much work, putting my energy into something really quickly and then letting it do its own thing goes well hand in hand with being a projector. And then my 10th house, which is empty, but it is ruled by Aries, signifies that I am very much of an entrepreneur spirit. So instead of just doing the 9 to 5 or whatever, I show up best when I'm doing my freelance work and just doing my work in like sprouts. And that is exactly what a projector does. They don't like to clock in, clock out, because we're here to play and rest. And I'm so sorry you're hearing this and you're like, what about me? Why can't I play and rest? And you're something else. You still can, but the way that projectors work best is in that environment. And every human design has its own aspect in which the energy is optimized best in certain settings. Also, my birth chart does say that I will work best as being psychic or mysticism. And when I first heard this many years ago, it really did something to me where I was like, okay, well, now I guess I have to be a shaman. And to be honest, I didn't really realize what that type of work kind of meant. It meant having a lot of emotional discipline, a lot of discipline overall, which I had zero discipline. And, my emotions, I did not have a healthy way of dealing with my emotions. And I wanted the respect and the name of the shaman, but I did not have what it takes to be a shaman. Especially at that time, I was very experimental with my psyche. So in a way, I was an astronaut. In my head, saying that I was a shaman equated to being an astronaut, which is someone who was very experimental with psychedelics. And now that I'm thinking about it, didn't play too well because I had this confidence that, oh yeah, I'm on my way to be a shaman, but I didn't have the discipline to be one. And why that's a very important piece, I'll tell you in a little bit. But in a world full of generators, their energy body is so different. Like, you can't keep up with one if you're not a generator. And you can imagine how depleting it is if you are a projector and all your life you're hearing, okay, you gotta get up and you gotta go and you gotta go and you gotta go some more and you gotta clock in and you gotta clock out. And you know what? No one deserves that. And I'm not saying that the way that society has set it up is right, but I'm just putting it in perspective here. The narrative is to hustle and bustle, and projectors just cannot do that. They will burn out. You won't get the best side of them. You'll never get the best side of them if they're in a perpetual state of movement. And also there are different shades of projectors, and that's all determined on your inner authority. And I found out recently that my inner authority is emotional. And why I am going to circle back to being a shaman again is that I, all my life, did run away from my emotions. Shamans are very in tune with their emotions. They don't just shove them out of the way. They don't drown them with nonsense such as drugs, alcohol, whatever. They let it out in a healthy way. They connect with the divine. And also, to be a shaman is not easily, like, you can't just say I'm a shaman. So all my life I'm thinking I want to be a shaman, but I don't have the emotional discipline. And now that I find out that I'm a projector, the inner authority is emotional, I'm learning now, like, I really need to figure out emotional independence, especially if that is what I'm gonna have to rely on, is my emotions. To be aligned in my true purpose is to rely on my emotions. What does that mean? I'm feeling a major feeling, and instead of just repressing it or using drugs or alcohol, I actually have to sit through it, because the only way to go around something is through it. And especially with the emotions, it's not going to be an easy route. You couldn't just opt out for something easier.
Cut the show. I'm done. Take me off. Take me off. Cut the show. I'm done. I'm done.
But just know that it's not going to be aligned with, if you are wanting to be aligned, that's not going to work for you. So if you know that you have a big emotion, and if you don't let those feelings play out, and you drown them, and you ignore them, and you repress them, and you suppress them, they are going to harbor more. It's like, think of it this way. There's a creek, right? There's a creek, and the environment is great and all. The creek is running beautifully. The salmon are doing what they do. The ducks are doing their own thing. And then you plop a big old boulder in the middle of the creek, and then the environment is disturbed. The ecosystem is disturbed. That is almost kind of doing the same thing when you have energetic blocks. So the ecosystem is all messed up. And if you go in and get rid of these feelings and dismantle them, and you crack the rock open, and then it goes down the creek, and then guess what? Everything is back to normal again, and it's flowing the way that it should. So that's what I mean by, like, energy. You have to have, to be in tune with your emotions, you have to sit with them, as uncomfortable as that may be. Oh my God, sometimes it can take days. But you also have to pull yourself out of that loop, understand when your time has, when you've already played those emotions out, understand that you don't have to sit in that emotion for a long time, because you can get addicted to a certain type of an emotion. But it is also very important to, just like with happiness, have these moments of happiness, and then the next emotion comes, and then the next emotion comes. You don't sit in the same one all the time. We are different flavors of emotions, and all hours of the day we just fluctuate through these emotions. You don't want to stay stagnant in that uncomfortable emotion the whole 3 weeks, because then it becomes a condition. And also with withholding and repressing emotions, you bottle it up, and it might just end up exploding on someone that you love, and it's not going to look good. It's not going to look good. It's not going to feel good. The aftermath is that you're not going to end up feeling good about yourself. You're going to have that guilt. Why did I explode on this person? I don't even know why. It could be something as simple as someone bumped into you, and then you just go off on them because in your head you're just thinking about something so strongly, or you're just really sitting in that emotion, or you've repressed it so much to, you keep getting these triggers and triggers and triggers, and then that one last trigger just really flipped a switch in you. So you never want to get into that state, and that's how you are farther away from your understanding yourself, is by repressing these emotions, because these emotions are telling you something. When the emotion or the energy in motion has nowhere to go, it's just going to get bottled up, and it has to come out some way, somehow, because with an in, there's always an out. So I say all this to say that the path to finding what's right and what is required of you is to really trust your intuition and to develop a trust in yourself. Because what I've noticed is that if you don't have the proper trust in yourself, you'll always look outward for the proper guidance. And personally, I can relate, because I always go against my intuition. Sometimes I feel silly, and I ask friends for something like, what would you guys do if this would happen? I'll take someone's advice, and I do it, and it completely goes the wrong way. because I never really took the chance to sit with myself and ask myself the question of what should I do versus relying on other people. Yeah, feedback is important. That's how we maneuver in this world, is by communicating. Did I do something right or wrong? Tell me what I should do. But in all honesty, when you develop that trust within yourself and you can trust that you can make decisions for yourself, and yeah, we're human, we're gonna make mistakes even if you do follow your intuition or you don't follow your intuition. It's all about, did you feel like you made the right choice? And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Because if you keep relying on other people for your decisions or for their decisions, then you're just gonna come out living a life of someone else's. I mean, if you really think about it, if you keep taking advice from someone that's not in your position, I mean, if you are seeking a certain type of advice that a professional or someone that you know would have the advice, that's a good idea. But when you know these people are equally as confused as you, what are you doing? You know, because then you have to go back and then you have to fix it, and you're wasting your time fixing your mess that could have easily been avoided if you just took a minute to really ask your body what it is that you should have done in that moment. So I also wanted to talk a little bit more about the projector's mission. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about the projector. So the projector is here to play and rest. Now you might say that's unfair to the other ones, to the other human designs. I don't know anything about those other ones though. And the research that I've been doing has led me to see that with the wisdom and the intuition and the clairvoyance and the ideas that projectors have,
I am so powerful. My mind, oh, it amazes me sometimes.
It's best that they just rest and play. And of course, there are going to be hurdles and times where it's not going to be all rest and play, but that is when we are at our best. And that can be challenging because primarily when the generator world is 80% work and 20% rest and play, and then you look at yourself, you'll have this feeling of maybe I'm just lazy. Maybe I'm just unmotivated. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm just not as dedicated to showing up the way that other people are. And it's not you, it's just the way that your energy works. And then so recently I've moved back in with my parents, and so I'm kind of in a place where I'm in the middle of the house where I don't have a door of my own, and this is where a lot of the traffic comes in. And so my mother, she is such a generator. I think she's more of like a manifesting generator, but she has this motto where she's just always moving, always cleaning everything. She's never sitting down. And when I look at her, I get exhausted. And I feel like, and no offense to her, I love her, but when I'm sitting down and I hear that she's working, I can't just comfortably sit down and that applies to like even at work, or even when you are out with your friends or something, like you just want to rest and chill, and then your friends want to do all this other stuff, like you're on vacation with a friend and they're the itinerary warriors is what they call them. No, me, I'll be by the pool, I'll be chilling, I'll be having a good time. We don't need to be doing all that. No, but you know, it's hard to feel energetically comfortable when you are also around people that are always on the go, and you shouldn't feel bad about that. I have such a love-hate I'm not even gonna cap. I hate the word lazy. I just hate the word lazy. I feel like maybe unmotivated would be a little bit more my style, but lazy, it just doesn't make sense, because first of all, when do we actually ever get to rest? Like, there's always so much to do all the time, and I don't need to be doing all of that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And I know if you're a projector, you've been called lazy before, but hey, this is that projector guilt, okay? We don't need to use that word. We're here to inspire and guide others. And I feel like that's enough. We have the wisdom, we have all that, and you know what? You got stuff to take care of, okay? Just because you're a projector doesn't mean you need to sit on the couch and not do anything. You still have your duties as a human. But the basics. But other than the basics, yeah, you're not here to be a basic anyway. There's no relation. There's no relation to that. But if my energy is scattered, think of it this way. If my energy is scattered and I'm giving you more than of myself, then I can pour into myself, then I can replenish within myself, there's nothing to give. You won't get the version of me that I want to give you, or that I can give you. And with that in mind, that means to be unapologetic with your energetic boundaries. And this can look like if your boss wants you to stay after work when you don't need to. And you know that when you get home, like, you barely have enough energy to take care of yourself and you don't need to. Tell them, no, I can't do that. And be unapologetic about it, because if you can't show up for yourself, a projector is supposed to worry about taking care of themselves so they can show up best for other people, to inspire them, to enlighten them. But when you can't even take care of yourself because you're busy pleasing others, these people won't get the best version of you. And you know what? You're wasting your energy. You're getting depleted. That's not your job. Or even, for example, if you want to go out on the weekend, but you know that you need to rest, you need to sleep, but you feel like because everyone's going out and drinking and clubbing and partying, you know that's not a good idea, but you do it anyways, and then the next few days you feel out of whack. You don't feel good. That's because you're not listening to your intuition. You shouldn't be listening to what the rest of the world is doing, because you're special and unique in your own way, and you can't do what other people are doing all the time. And that might lead you to having feelings of FOMO. But the pros outweigh the cons. When you are guarding your energy, when you are guarding your spirit and taking care of your body, you will soon find out that that definition of fun that everyone is throwing around is not what an elevated person as yourself that cares about their energetic body will do. And then also, with understanding who you are, your energy types, all that stuff, and I found out that I had to do this myself, that I had to reconstruct my idea of what fun was, because all my life, fun was to go out and get plastered. Plain and simple. Through drinking, tree, whatever. But the next day I would just feel so out of sorts. I never felt like myself. I felt kind of empty. And so the other day I sat down with myself and I said to myself, well, now I have to redefine the definition of fun. So what's fun to me? And fun to me is bonding with the people that I love, laughter. I like experiences and sharing experiences with others in a pure way, and even trying new things by myself. Basically just creating a safe container, safe and calm and quiet container for myself. And you know what, I get loud sometimes, and that's fine. It comes in bursts, but having fun in a way that doesn't disrupt my energy and my energy levels. And the more that you can redefine and be honest about what is fun to you, the better it is, because we are creatures of habit. If we keep doing the same thing and we're not self-aware of what we're doing, and we're just going to keep getting the same results. It takes understanding and understanding ourselves, to be present with ourselves, to be in tune with ourselves, to really tap into the fuller and bigger image of who we really are and what we're here to do. Not getting caught up in what we think we should do or what others are doing, but more or so finding out the path that is forged for you. Now, this can also mean being selective of the music that you hear, the people that you hang out with, the activities that you do in general, the thoughts that you are thinking, the habits that you've accumulated, and then just being honest about what does being the best version of me look like, and writing down what steps you can take towards it, and just keep putting that in motion. Practice, and not being disappointed that going to the gym, you're trying to lose 10 pounds, you just started 3 weeks ago, the 10 pounds aren't there. You don't go in with the idea of losing the 10 pounds. You go in there about building that discipline. And then the 10 pounds are a plus. So creating those healthy habits. Because if you keep doing the same low vibrational things, expect to keep living that same way. And don't you dare do the woe is me trope. When you are self-aware, you must take the action. And so it's easy to travel down the road that is most traveled, and then when you are doing your own thing, you are going to have your own set of problems that are unique. But that is the beauty of being a projector, is that you make the mistakes and then you tell people about them, and you give them insights and wisdom. How you manage your mistakes and explain to others and guide them how to maneuver around them is the idea of the projector. You are one of a kind. You're a trailblazer. You're someone with valuable insights and gifts. And the more that you recognize your energy and how valuable you are, understanding yourself and what you need, giving yourself that time, the better of a chance it is that things will go your way. I'm confident in that. Thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. If you're new here, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed this, leave a like or a comment. I'd very much appreciate it. And I will see you guys another time. Take care. Bye-bye.